In this short screencast, I'm going to teach you how to use a technique called fact-checking to avoid looking foolish on social networking sites. One type of post you might encounter when you're browsing your timeline on a social networking site such as Facebook is a post that is somewhat inflammatory, that sounds like a very important post, but it may or may not actually be true. So in this example, I am using a post that a lot of people have been posting on Facebook about Jane Fonda and how she was actually responsible for the deaths of a number of POWs in Vietnam. And this is something that sounds very important and like something that the public should perhaps know about. And so it makes sense to kind of repost and share this with as many people as you can. But it is important first to just check to make sure that this is actually true before you start spreading this information to others. And so one tool that you can use to check whether something is actually true that you see on the internet is a website called Snopes.com. That's Snopes.com. So Snopes is a website that helps people kind of dispel rumors that have been going around on the internet for a long time. And so if you want to see if something's true or false, Snopes might be a good place to start. So let's say, just to use our Jane Fonda example, that you would like to find out if Jane Fonda was responsible for the deaths of POWs in Vietnam. And so one way to do this would be to just type a couple of keywords that might match the search that you're looking to complete. So we're going to go with Jane Fonda Vietnam, and I'm just using this search box at Snopes.com. And I click go, and hey, look, there is a post on Snopes.com that actually matches my search. And so I'm going to click on that post, and right away we get information about whether this post that you saw on Facebook just a few minutes ago was true or false. So what we can see here is that this particular post is false, which means that it's not true. And so if you kind of scroll through the articles on Snopes.com, or if you kind of scroll through the pages at Snopes.com, you'll see kind of a description of the post or the rumor that's been going around. And then as you continue to read, if you are able to read, go ahead and continue to read, you'll be able to see additional information about kind of how this rumor got started and what is actually true and what's not true and so forth. So that's just one sort of technique that you can use to kind of figure out if something's actually true. So that's kind of one example of how to fact check. I'm going to go back to the slides and kind of talk about really what the first step should be when you see a post on Facebook and it is interesting and really seems like something that you should tell everybody you know about. The first thing you should really do is consider the source. Who actually posted this thing? So if this came from somebody that you really trust and is always credible and always checks their facts before they post something on social networking sites, then perhaps the post might actually be true. But if the source who posted the inflammatory statement or item or picture or whatever is somebody you don't necessarily consider credible, that's when you're going to want to go ahead and move on to step 2, which is fact checking. Now, I showed you one technique that you can use to fact check, and that's using the search features of a website called Snopes.com. So next, I'm just going to give you another example on fact checking so that we can use another fact checking tool. So another fact-checking tool that you could use is Google. So Google has some fantastic features and is really smart about searching for things when you enter keywords into the search box. So I'm going to go to another Facebook post, and we're going to take a look at this alert. So there is an alert that a friend posted on Facebook about how some bad men approached a woman near her car and gave her a business card because they wanted to either work on her car or paint her car or something, and then the woman, upon taking the business card, subsequently getting into her car and driving away, smelled a funny odor on her hand, and it seems like it seemed like there was a drug coming from the card, and then she passed out and was almost horribly assaulted, but she was not in fact assaulted. And so this drug on a business card that you could accidentally get your hands on at gas stations might seem like something that you should really warn your friends about, especially your female friends, because you don't want bad things happening to them, and you don't want them taking business cards with drugs on it and passing out and being violently assaulted. And so, like I said, it seems like something important enough to forward, but you just might want to check to make sure that that's actually true. So typically you can look or read through the post on Facebook or whatever social networking site you're using, and this might have come in an email too. You can check the facts and so forth when you get emails as well. But in this case, there is a drug name that is listed or displays right here on the screen. So I'm just gonna copy that, and I'm gonna use Google to paste the name of this drug. And what we can see here is, an immediate sort of response from Google that this particular drug has been discussed on Snopes, it's been discussed on urbanlegends.com, it's been discussed on Hoax Slayer, a website called Hoax Slayer. So just an initial Google search can help give you an indication as regards whether this claim is actually true. And so if we were to click on the Snopes.com link, we would see that this is yet another post that is false. And here's another website that can kind of let you know whether this post is false or not. And so again, it's really important to complete that step that I shared with you just a second ago, or a few minutes ago, which is check your facts before you repost something that you see on Facebook. I'm just going to show you one other tool that you can use to fact check. I have another example of a Facebook post, and this is on a political figure's website, and you might remember this. It's from back in 2009. This is about the claim that the Affordable Health Care Act was going to create something called death panels of people who would stand by and decide whether a child or an adult should die or not based on how healthy they are. So this is just another example of something that you might want to consider fact checking before you start spreading this across Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is you might be using for social networking. So I am going to try and find a term in this particular post that will help me with my search. So I'm going to highlight the term death panel and copy it. And then I'm going to show you another website called PolitiFact. There is a search field up at the top right corner of PolitiFact. So here's where you can type your search. If it's a two-word search, you might consider typing it in quotation marks. That'll help you kind of narrow down your search. But at any rate, you can search for a topic that's been claimed by somebody reposting a content on Facebook, and you can see, at least in this example, that this particular claim is PolitiFact's lie of the year for the year of 2009. And so PolitiFact is a helpful website that allows you to kind of find out whether or not something a politician has claimed is true, and it also allows you to find out whether something somebody on Facebook has reposted is actually true. So that kind of sort of concludes the training demonstration on how to check your facts. So just as a reminder, don't forget to use Snopes.com. You can also use Google, and you can check PolitiFact. And there are other websites out there as well that can kind of help you determine whether something is true or false. Now, the last message that I wanted to share with you as part of the tutorial was step 3. So here's what you do when you find out that something someone else has posted is not in fact true or correct. Don't repost or share stuff that isn't true, and that'll kind of keep the internet a more reasonable place for people to spend their time. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.